Alright, hey guys. In this episode, we're going to go over the vector tools and bringing things into 3D code. Um, First of all, what I'd like to show you first of all is kind of the interface. We have a bunch of different kind of modules over here. We have, the paint, tweak, retopo, UV, and voxel. So right now we're just going to specifically be working in voxels. And so it's pretty simple. You just go import objects, just like you would do anything else. I know there's a bunch here, but you would import mesh for voxelizing, and then we go into our data sets here, and we're going to go into, like, say we've been using bunnies too much. Let's go get an owl. I think owl number 2. I like the decimated one. I think this one's pretty good. Let me see here. Yeah. And so when he comes in, you see that the axis is not on there. And what's really nice about 3D Code is that we can, over here in the settings of bringing in, we can change that to the bounded. Now what you need to realize as you bring this in, the model right now is not actually within, it's not in the scene yet. It's just kind of like a ghost. So on the one that you'll be using, you won't have this position thing, and you'll just have to kind of move it to where you want it. One thing you got to realize though too is that the polygon count here really matters. For instance, if you drop this in the scene as is, you need to make sure. The other thing is you need to make sure right here is before you hit apply, that these right here are on add, so you're adding it to the scene. These are actually your Boolean operations, just like you would have anything else. So it's pretty nice to have this as an object import. Anyway, so you can either add it to the scene and immediately drop it in. See, it's only got 968 polygon content, so this is going to voxelize it but blur it quite significantly. So yes, we want to drop it in the scene. And now if you just pick any other one of these tools, you can see what it dropped in. And see, as you can see, it did not voxelize very well due to the fact that that was such a low polygon content. So we're going to go back and we're going to just keep him out. So undo, bring him back in. Now there's two ways we can increase the polygon content. The easiest way is to just simply grab the middle and scale him up. And you see the polygon content is increasing there. I usually like it up into, the 200,000, somewhere in there, game above the grid line. You can also turn that grid off too. It's within here, which is kind of nice too. So I particularly want him, and also you see it's in perspective right now, and what I particularly like to do is work in ortho because it seems more architectural. And Alt in the left mouse button is your kind of rotate, and the left one is your pan or roll distance, roll in and out. So if you hold Alt and then hold Shift, you can lock into your views, orthographical views. And you see he's a little off, so we can kind of go to the top and fix that. And then the axis he resets to where it needs to be, and so he's kind of sitting there right. I kind of want him the other way around, even him up a little bit, flipping. I kind of want him up here. Now, if you got him at this point and you hold down Control and you grab this outside thing, it will lock to 45s, so that's really helpful. Okay, so we have him at about 200. This is the first way we can do it. We can add him in right like that, and as you see, he's pretty good now. He's pretty much the same style as that object that we had just had in. But if we undo and scaling down just a little bit, say let's scale him to 70,000. What we also can do is go down here to the layer, which is in the bottom right of your Vox tree over here, and we can go to this button down here that it says increase resolution of the current object. So if we kick this, it's going to throw it into memory, and you see here the polygon count rose as it was. because it's multiplying whatever is on that layer by 2. And consecutively, it'll be 4 and 8 and so on and so forth. All right. So I'm going to increase him just a little bit and zoom in. So that's pretty good right there. So now I'm going to drop him in the scene. Yes, it's going to ask me again. I'm going to go ahead and make a new layer just for, and then take that off. As you can see, he's in there now. Now, one thing that I did, which I really like the software that it does this, is I made another menu within these kind of models over here. You can just add it this way, but you can also make a whole nother menu. And so, like those R1s that I was talking about in one of the previous tutorials, I put those in here under an R1, and then on the voxels, these are your decimated objects. And I'll eventually make another one for the multiple objects. So anyway, so you have him in here. Now I've made a new layer. As you see, it will change the color of it as I pick the other layer. And then I'll kind of grab one of these inside, and I can bring him over there. Oh, excuse me. We weren't going to go over that first. So we're going to turn that off. We're going to cut him first. Let me show you the splitting options. Okay, so you go down here to split, or you can use the cutoff. And what I've basically done is I've made a set of AI files. They were kind of made from silhouettes I created, and then I traced them in Rhino, brought those into Illustrator, and then exported them as ESPs. But we'll get to that in a second. First off, I'll show you the just simple splitting. Here's just a cube. Much easier than ZBrush. You just put it on top, boom, it's separated. You see it's separated them down here. You can turn that off, and now we have a very solid, very clean hole through it. Now, if we beef the resolution up that, as you can see, we can resample it again, and that will clean that edge up a little bit. And there's other little tools we can do to sharpen that up quite a bit. But anyways, for now, that is the simple cut through. Now we're going to back up a little. I think we know now that we need that up again, so we're going to bump that up to ×4. And so let me show you one of the other ones. For glance cutting, this tool here is very nice. I don't know what it's called. Irregular shape, irregular area. Anyway, so you can simply, it's just like AutoCAD. If you're locked in a view, this is really helpful, to be locked in a view. So you can simply draw that in, and it will cut it right through. Boom, there it is. And we have a nice clean cut, much cleaner than ZBrush. None of the bubbling that happens or anything like that. Okay. And so like I said in the beginning, I've created a set of ESPs. So within those folders, there is an area. It is not the same as this. It is called voxel cut. Well, they're in this. They're in the vectors folder within the 3D coat folder on the Dropbox, and it's these exact same ESPs. So for instance, we have a unicorn whale here. We'll bring the unicorn whale in, and see the unicorn whale, we just scale him down. This can be any vector line, whatever you want to do. And we can bring him in, scale him up, scale him up a little bit, and then cut him through. And you kind of position him. You don't have to do it in the cardinal orthographic views. You can do it in a kind of perspective or a isometric, like that, and then you hit apply, and see that will cut that shape out. And so what I do now is I create another layer, which I already have. I click on that layer, I resample it to the exact same number of layers resampling that the other one was at. So I'm going to click that once, click it twice to ×4. And so when if I click on that and I right click on it and I say merge to the new volume, and so what that's going to do is merge that object over to the new volume, and then I can turn that off, and we have a new layer with just that new object in there. And as you see, it's basically the owl with that cut through. Now, what I like doing is double cutting it. You know, I double cut and then add on the top again. Yeah. So I'll double cut that object, as you see here, and I'll slice him again. Boom. And now we have a double cut object. And so what I'll do is I'll make another volume, resample it to the fore, right click here, move to 34. Alright, and then I'll turn that volume off. And as you see now, we get that cut, but there's slightly cuts out of it. So it's following the edge of the original cut, but it's coming in and out of it. So we have this nice kind of figural shape that sits on. You can go here and hit clear on this, and it brings that out of the way. And you know, so you get these nice clear involutions inside of the object there. Okay. And so that's vector cutting. And the next video we'll go over voxel cutting within 3D Code. Thanks so much.